home and just try.
Welcome back. So we continue exactly where we left off. Pretty much our current issue, besides the radiator, haven't done anything with that yet, is pretty much getting the throttle cable set up. Where its current position is, you can see it's way too loose. So I'm trying to move it back just temporarily till I find a better solution. But I have some aluminum. I don't think that this is going to be anywhere near strong enough to hold this long term, but at least for now as a template, and then we'll get some thicker steel or something later, make a better bracket. But yeah, if we keep it this way, to be honest with you, it's kind of jerry-rigging it, but we'll get it to work. So my thought is this already is a piece of scrap I had laying around, so might as well try it out. Put the hole there, twist this a little bit so that way it's at the same kind of straight on diameter as that. We'll just cover those up if we don't use them, and then bend this in, or actually leave this straight, drill some holes, tap them, and then that way we can use these to put them in there. Or any other hardware I have, and then we should be good and set. So we'll see how this goes. It's either I turn it, I twist it to make it work, or I put something behind it to keep it straight up. No, I'm just gonna twist it. Twist it makes sense, so stand by. So process I'm doing, because I'm just bending this, putting it in the vise. It was straight, I already bent a little bit of it, but pretty much just grabbing any pliers that you have, gripping onto it, and then twisting it a little bit. And then the bend, it will come out twisted, just how you want it. So you can play around with it a little bit, more or less, but I think I just need it a little bit, so it's just to fit this out. So we're almost there. We need a little bit more to turn out so it's more flat, but cool. A couple more bends and we'll try it one more time. So this is our finished shape. So this is where it mounts. This is where it'll mount with the throttle cable position right at the end. So I need to drill some more holes to make it work, and then we'll tap them. So dilemma, this surface area is not the same as the other. This is smaller, so we're just gonna do one hole. Terrible idea, but this way we can get everything set up just to kind of pinpoint where we need it, and then we'll get some steel and do it proper next time. So we tapped it, so now we can get a bolt in there, nice and threaded, ta-da. So that way we'll have that, and then we can go and try and test to fit this on. All right, so here's where we're at right now. Bent over, it's moved far back. It's a little too far back without pulling this, you know what I mean? So we'll basically just flip this the opposite direction. So this is more up front, and then we'll see if that'll work out. All right, cool. So now we have flipped it. Pretty much if I like this idea and I'll stick with it, I'll probably make this out of thicker steel so it doesn't move. And then, yeah, just paint it all in black so it's golden and you can't really tell anything. But yeah, I'm super happy with this. Kind of works out, it's nice and tight. No play in there. This isn't cracking open or anything until I pull it, and it's actually staying the correct distance now. So I think we're in order, at least in regards to the throttle cable. If I find a better solution, I'll put it on there, but at least for now, this will do. And I can see the flex just from the windshield, so I'll place you guys here so you can see why aluminum is not a good idea for this overall. So stand by. So yeah, flexes a little bit here and there, as expected, because it's not thick enough aluminum or steel, for that matter, to keep its position. So yeah, but I like where this is headed, at least as of now. And it's actually almost kind of flush up there. So if it's in black, it'll probably look a lot better overall. But yeah. So what I don't know, once we get to it, is where I'm going to get the vacuum source for my fuel pressure regulator. So I'll look that up. Assuming it's one of these in the front, not up here. I'm gonna use that for my boost reference or my blow-off valve reference. But I think this one down here, barely see it, that one might work out for what we needed to do. So we'll see, we'll kind of play around with it, see if any of them work better than another or if we get some weird readings, but that is my only kind of question mark right now, so I'll look that up. I forgot I had this, well, I didn't forget, I have it, but I need to block this off because it's not gonna be in use overall. So just put that there, maybe put like a, I don't know, vent or something right there temporarily, and then reconnect the bottom and then basically just test the fuel system, make sure that's working, and is one, holding fuel, not leaking everywhere, and two, that we have the base pressure and everything set correctly, and then three, that the car fires up. Wish me luck. And just for anybody who also has the same thing, when I got this, it had this for the throttle position sensor. So you should be able to put a screwdriver behind it and kind of just slowly pry it up from the edges. I think from the bottom is probably the best, and then it should allow you to kind of start working its way around until it pops out further like this, and then you should be able to yank it off. And ta-da, we have them separated. So once you have this off, you can essentially, I have a BMW one that you can use. Test fit it with one that was not working prior, but yeah, make sure it's in the position, the correct position itself, to where it is set to when this goes forward as the throttle opens. And then you can pretty much just wedge it in there, honestly. So I'm probably gonna put the adapter on there that I had before, which is right here. So put the adapter on, see if that works, see if it'll even line up. Let's just see. Now we'd have to make a few different changes because this is definitely a different size, but let's take a look. So that piece didn't work, so I'm pretty much gonna just make my own, something that just allows it to be thin, adapt right on there, and then I can just slide the other piece on, because this is not thin enough, or not thick enough. Oh, it's right over the edge. This may not work either. I need something a little bit thinner. We'll see if it works out or not, but pretty much template, like we've been doing, piece of cardboard paper, find our holes, ignore those two, but find our holes, transport that to our piece of aluminum, and then go from there. All right, here's the rough draft. As such, you need to make a billion different holes in there, but it sits right on there. It's always hard finding. I'm not gonna say it. Not gonna say it. We're just gonna keep moving. Cool, so we got it on there. You won't be able to see it unless I flip this upside down, so let me flip it. See the hole up top? And then there's the hole in the bottom, which is in the center. So we're gonna make a new piece, cover that up, make it just the two holes for mounting, and then you should be good. So we'll transition this right over to another piece all together, make our black spots with our marker, and go from there. All right, so we got everything rehooked back up here, tightened down for the time being, and then this is gonna be a total temporary because I don't have a 3-inch, which I'll order today. But yeah, wrap this around there temporarily, get the car fired up, try and fire it up anyway, and see if, one, it runs, two, if we're leaking any fuel. Those are my two main concerns, fuel and it running. So let's see what we got. So we got all of our vacuum lines hooked up. Again, still missing to put something in here to block it off, but otherwise temporary things out of the way. But we should be good to test the fuel pressure, make sure that's working. Everything else is hooked back up, so it should start technically, but you know how that goes. So let's get to it. So time to hook up the battery and let's see what's leaking, if anything. All right, let's see if we leak any fuel. A little bit of fuel leak back here. So looks like we need to tighten up one of these lines, probably right here. And then we'll try. So super loose. So let me tighten this up and try again. Okay, round two. No leak there. I don't see any drips here. Everything smells dry up here. I think we're in business. I just want to see if it'll start for a second. Sounds like something's still leaking. Try it again. I'm thinking our source for the fuel line for our fuel pressure regulator is not accurate. All right, our third iteration of this, essentially it should be able to place it on there like so. Our bolt holes should line up, and then these are threaded as well here, so that way we can put our sensor on, and then we should be overall set. So let me thread this on there, put it together, and then I'll show you the final result. We can still shave the edges down and everything. This is just to get it fitted. All right, we got a little bracket made. Like I said, it's threaded on this back part, so that way this thread will go through. If I want to make another one, I thought it was going to be right there, but I'm off, so no big deal. Drill another hole if we need to, tap it if we need to, but this should essentially mount up now pretty much right on there. So hopefully it'll do what I want it to do, but we'll see here in a second. Okay, so after much thought and persistence of trying, none of my plans worked. So I'm basically gonna do from the intake or the throttle body itself, wrap around this on the outside and then attach it up top. That way it doesn't have anywhere to move. But yeah, pretty much just made a little J bracket out of that. So it will essentially be like so. Sit behind it, rotate over, and then it will just sit on top. So I'm gonna drill some holes, get this mounted, and then be done with it. Cool, so my little bracket worked. And my little relief cut right there also worked in order to tighten this back one here. So right now it's on. It's not going anywhere. I can pull this. Moves just a little bit, but it doesn't move enough to where I'm concerned about it. So yeah, should be set from there. Now I just need to make sure I have all my other lines set up correctly to make sure it works properly, and then we can go from there. But I didn't see any leaks yesterday from the fuel perspective, so that's great news. Now we just need to get it to start up and stay on and idle, basically. Yeah. My only real concern is basically where this not relief line, where the fuel pressure regulator line is I have it running down essentially underneath to this part of the manifold. I'm not sure if that's the correct location or if there's a better location I should be running it to, but yeah, that's where we're at right now. So I'm just making sure that that is going to be the correct place ultimately for this, and then yeah, the rest of it should be golden. And I need to block off this giant hole. Big thing. Here's my temp solution for this. Like I said, temporary. I have my other one. It should show up here hopefully tomorrow. And then we can put that on and just replace it real quick. But I need to order the 3-inch clamps. Need to do that today so they get here tomorrow too. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it right now. All right, doesn't look much better, but should block off and at least suck in clean air, if that's even a concern or thing here. But yeah, let me open the garage real quick again, and then let's see if we can't get this thing to start. Feels like it needs a little throttle. Let me get in. I can't flip the throttle a little bit here. Let's let our heat thing heat up. See if it'll tell us anything we don't already know. As soon as I turn off the camera, it turns on. Let's try it again. It's on. I have to give it gas in order for it to go. And oil pressure's coming back. I think my oil pressure sensor was loose, so I screwed that back in. It seems like that's alive again. Pluses, pluses. I need to get this gauge stuff off the back. It's kind of coming off a little bit. So I'll find a permanent solution for that, but it's richy rich right now. And I let go of the gas. It's holding on. Let's see if we can't. Nice. I probably need to adjust the screw that's in here. I don't want to run it on the side like this too long, so nice. And now that it runs, now that we have no leaks that we can see, smell, just running super duper rich right now, no big deal. We'll just tune that out. And then I think we need to adjust the throttle cable or throttle screw here slightly just to allow for more air in so it can actually hold an idle. But dude, it works. It works. Oh, that's so nice. That's such a relief. Such a relief after taking everything apart and putting it back together. The car starts again. So I know a lot of you guys feel the same way. Now let's put it on the ground so we can actually run it, shall we? So now that we know that there's no leaks, we can come back under here. Our nice and managed fuel filter is that, and we can go ahead and button all this up, tighten it away and hide it so it doesn't even look like this anymore. And then we'll put the wheel back on, put it back on the ground, and get going from there. Let's work. Looks all the way down. It's all tucked up nice and high, out of the way. Still need to attach the thing down there, so that's good. I've solved that. Okay, now you can see. So pretty much this was hanging down below, just a little too low to where I wasn't really comfortable with it. Now it's above the frame rail, like so. But pretty much just used a small clamping, I don't know what you call it, piece that clamps onto the brake line, and basically will attach to this piece that separates the fuel lines all the way through and through. So should keep it nice and high all the way around. And now we can put it on the ground, finally. Now that we're on the ground and we know there's no leaks back here, now that everything's nice and tight, we'll go ahead and block that, shut that off, put the hard tie back on, close all this back up, and then we can really just focus on, driving and tuning and all the proper things after that. So cool. Well, that's it for this one. Like, comment, subscribe. We're back at it, man. Back at it. Glad it's back up and running again on the new intake manifold with the skunk. So much more to do. So many changes still to go. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace. All right, round two. I adjusted the idler screw for the skunk inlet. Let's see if it works any better today. It's idling on its own. Let's go. Just the idler screw it is. Oh, that sounds good. So smooth. So smooth.